We specialize in fitting here at the Spokesman. And what most people don't know is the fitting starts with a physical analysis of the cyclist. Before we ever put a cyclist on a bicycle, we try to figure out what flexibility, what strength, what issues, what medical issues there may be that we need to accommodate in the fit. Certainly what discomfort, what comfort issues are going to be involved. What I start with is overall flexibility of the leg. I will just lift the leg up using my angle finder or goniometer, assess what angle I can get his leg at. I'll bend the knee, roll the leg towards the torso. And what I'm looking for is at what point when I'm rolling him over, I actually start affecting the other leg. What that'll tell me is when his pelvis is rolling and basically his limitation on his bicycle. I can't have his pedal stroke go beyond that angle of closure. If he's pushing down on the pedal, coming through the pedal stroke back to the top, if I have him in a position where his leg has to come up here to get through the pedal stroke, the other leg is completely being engaged when I bring the leg up that far. He's working in this regard as opposed to if I have him within his range of motion, the hips will sit quietly, the other leg isn't affected. In the other instance, if I have him pushing up too high, the only way his foot will actually come over the pedal stroke is for this other foot to push down. And usually there's a tremendous amount of rocking action in the pelvis. We're also curious about leg length discrepancies. So I will slide down here and just check to see if his ankles are in the same spot. I'll actually have him sit up and lie back down and see how the ankles change. And that will tell me if there's any pelvic issues, if he has any alignment issues in his pelvis. As he sits up, one leg might become shorter than the other. And when we put a person in a cycling position, they're actually bent over to ride a bike, and that will cause any pelvic misalignment to show up. You may have to change the shoe fore and aft to adapt for that, or change the saddle to adapt for the leg length. I want to know what tension they have in the IT band along the side of the leg. I want to know the quadricep flexibility, the hip flexor flexibility, and even the hamstring flexibility. And I'll just, by letting the leg lie down, I can assess how quickly it pulls to the side, will tell me how the IT band is, at what level the leg rests, either here or up here, will tell me front leg flexibility. I'll do both legs to assess that. And when I'm putting a person on a bike and I start seeing issues one way or another during the fit, I'll go back to this mentally and realize, okay, yeah, you will have that problem on the bike because we saw such tension in this particular part of your leg, and it'll just give us more information. One of the most basic and telling tests that we actually do is the basic flexibility test we all have known our whole lives, and it's locked knees, and we're just hanging over to see where the hamstrings allow the body to hang. So why don't you bend over? Real common to get someone who's this flexible, and that's it. That's all they've got. Fingers touch the knees. We come down a little bit further. You see this in a lot of athletes, and then Dave's actually pretty flexible. He can come down past 90 degrees. What this will tell us, you can stand back up, what this basic flexibility test will tell us is what range to start the handlebars. And an inflexible rider needs to have a very high handlebar position to be comfortable, and a super flexible rider will actually be more comfortable with a much lower handlebar position.